live on YouTube, so we can start. I'm going to start introducing myself. I'm Mel Tavares. I'm from São Paulo. I live here. I like to study languages. I intend to work with the languages in the future. I love eating and I love dogs. What about you, Leonardo?
Uh, I'm Leonardo. I'm from São Paulo. I'm married. I'm I born and raised in Guarulhos, but now I live in São Paulo. I work as a software engineer. My free time, I like to watch movies, walk in the park, and now I'm enjoying cooking and learning how to cook. So that's it.
Interesting. And what about you, Ricardo?
Well, I'm Ricardo. I live at São Vicente, is here from São Paulo. 1 hour and the half driving in the best moments because a lot of time there are, for example, if you go to my region from São Paulo in the rush hour, certainly, for example, Friday night or Friday at the end of the afternoon, yes, certainly you face some problems to read. Whereas I faced a lot of times because I live in my region, São Vicente, but I worked in São Paulo. Nowadays is a little worse because my office is Barueri. But that's weird, né? Is near, São Paulo is near, but when I worked at São Paulo, I used to take more time to reach my region. That's weird. Né? And well, Leonardo mentioned about cooking, and I like to. Sometimes I do some some plates. Né? Not so there aren't so variety of plates, but my family love my mandioquinha cream and some desserts too. But I love watching movies and the hang out with my friends, family, barbecues, or opportunities to talk. That's it.
Great. So you guys could just meet each other in person and cook something for everybody in Talk and Talk. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to no, first I'm going to start saying some things about the platform, okay?
Okay.
So Talk and Talk is a platform where we can practice English, Spanish, Italian, and French, and Mandarin, actually. In the future, maybe we have different languages too. Here is a safe place to make mistakes, to express ourselves. We are not here to judge anybody. I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to teach you anything, but we are gonna learn a lot from the conversation. And here is a conversation 100% in English. Of course, we can say some words in Portuguese if we need to, but that's mainly in English, okay? So that's it that I have to talk. And let's start with the first question. Leonardo, can you read and answer the first question for us?
Sure. The topic is setting limits. The
Mm-hmm.
first question is, what does setting limits mean to you? So for me, I think that setting limits, set boundaries, it's about defining what and how far uh, I or someone can go into something. For example, something about my mental, physical, or verbal, all the time. So, physical, for example, I prefer to not show affection when I greet someone at the first time. So, the example.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that's it. And what about you, Ricardo? How's that for you?
About my limits,
Mm-hmm. What does setting limits mean to you?
Well, sometimes it's hard. It's so important to have the knowledge about the limits, not for everybody, but particular for you, because we are different each other. Because sometimes a specific task or a specific situation is over on your limits. So in this case, it's necessary to check, analyze well, and try to pay attention, because sometimes you, for example, that's just an example. When I work in my company, my boss love had lunches around 3 p.m. and he insists a lot to, well, it's not better for you work until 3 o'clock, and after that you could eat more, drink you, and okay, but my body necessitates food before the lunchtime. It's just a small example, but sometimes okay, you could went out earlier, but sound like a little pressure on the air sometimes. Oh, for example, you finish your job, and is my shift finish, and it sounds like it's a little joke, but every day this phrase is mentioned. So suddenly is, as I told you, is on the air, is a little pressure, and suddenly all of the employees have the same behavior. For example, working 1 hour more, and the lunch, for example, 3 o'clock. So in this case, it's necessary pay attention in certainly say no is a kind, I used to say, is a kind of art. Know how and where and when you say no is a wonderful tool, but it's hard to learn about how to say and have courage to say a lot of times in your life. That's it.
Amazing. I agree with both of you. I think it's about respecting ourselves, respecting each person, respecting themselves. I think it's important because, as Ricardo said, it's difficult for most of people, the majority of people, to say no. You know, it's complicated because we think too much about the other people's judgment over us, and we don't want to disappoint them, maybe. So we feel the pressure, and sometimes we just say yes because we can't say no, but that's not what we wanted to do, wanted to have. I don't know. And it's important to have this to develop that in ourselves, because it's about us. If we don't respect ourselves, who is going to? Anyone, because everybody's doing their own things for their own selves, and so we should take care of ourselves first. And of course, if you want to help someone, that's possible, but we have to set some limits, because if we don't, I don't know if that's the same way in English. Probably not, but I'm going to say it as in Portuguese. If you give the hand, they want the whole body. They just want everything that you can offer them and even more. So I think it's always complicated. That's why we should always set limits. So, Ricardo, can you read and answer the second question?
Sure. Is it difficult for you to follow and impose your own limits on other people? Why? Well, this answer is a little similar to the number one. Yeah. Well, I used to say, which person on our planet is sound like a universe? That's weird, because, for example, you think about it, and the two brothers, twins, for example, they was born, that were born from same mother, grow up together in the same environment, study in the same school, have the same friends, the same parents, and suddenly we became totally different each other. For example, one of them love radical sports, and another want to just think about it. For example, jumping on parachute, using parachute, for example, just to think about it, and this person fell down or something like that. And when you think about it, and it certainly is, the people are so different each other. It's not wrong, it's not bad, it's wonderful, because they are so different perspective, and it's rich because you can know each other, receive more information, and suddenly I don't know, 100 people look at the same issue, and surge a person that look at the same scenario and think the different way, and for example, create a great solution. So in this case, it's important to have on your own opinion, but respect. And when you look and think a different way, certainly it's necessary to express respect, and try to consider a conversation and expose your thoughts. Yeah, it's sometimes it's hard because another person thinks a different way, and they suddenly don't respect, but yeah, it's part of the game, as some people will just say. That's it. Sorry, I talk a lot.
No problem. I agree with what you said. I think it's like that. We are all different, so our limits are different too. If we don't really know a person, for example, I don't know you guys very well. I know from the platform, but I don't do very well. So I don't know very much your limits. So it's not like to stop a person on the street, and I will know even less of that person, their limits. So because I've never seen the person, so it's always important to get to know the person so you can know their limits, and if you see you are passing their limits, I think it's always important to review your actions, because we don't like to other people to do the same to us. So why would we do the same to another person? I think we don't have we don't should do to others what we wouldn't like anyone to do to us. I don't know, something like that. And what about you, Leonardo?
Is the question number two, number three?
Mm-hmm. Two.
Sure. What is important set limits in your professional life? In my professional life, I think our job needs so much.
That was number two, but you can answer both.
Sure. The number two, I think in the personal life, our job asks so much or needs so much of us. And I think give that context, I think it's important to set boundaries in order to do not exceed our moral values. So give the moral values is an important part of us and define what we are. I think don't exceed these limits is important to do not give so much power or freedom to anyone do whatever they want with us. And my personal life, I think for me is the same perspective. But I would add how far we or I can go to something. For example, for me, it's important to have a free time to relax. So how I know that why I should spend all my free time doing something that I don't like or spending it with someone I don't like. So and it's not about selfish, but it's being honest with me, with myself. And the the question number three is important. It's difficult for you to follow and impose your own limits on other people. Why? Uh, Following is easy for me. I respect a lot the other's limits, but it's a kind of hard to impose my own. I grew up with my mother raising me to always be a kind and polite person to others, and no matter what, no matter happens. So for that reason, that sets something too much deep in my mind that I always would accept the other's actions. So it's been that's a challenge for me as an adult. So that's it.
Interesting. Different point of view. Yeah. And what about you, Ricardo? About the number three?
Uh, well, it's so hard to, particularly in Brazil, né, have limits, né? And because unfortunately, it's not just you have a job, né? It's necessary the job, né? Because well, a lot of people receive one or two minimal salary. So in this case, unfortunately, it's not possible to pay for the basic you for you have basic conditions is necessary earn more money. And sometimes, for example, you have to choice between professional part of your life and the personal, because a lot of people work, and when they finish your shift, it is necessary create a idea or work in the second job. So, but yeah, I used to say, our real life is a personal life. a professional life is good, is important. You could, for example, what's mean? It's important to work if something that you could have some perspective, have significado in your life or something like that. But I don't know, but sound like me for me that is your real life is a personal life when you have to live with the person. Because, for example, well, sometimes you need to receive money, but I don't know. You could, for example, quit in the working another job, but don't have another mother, another father, another brother. So is sometimes it's important to try to fix this relationship in the when you have to lead, you create some good feelings in your heart, patience, in the other stuff. So, and the job is not, yeah, it's possible to have some feelings, create some feelings, the same feelings, but it's different, in my opinion. So in this case, it's necessary to, for you have health in your life, is necessary to pay attention in your personal life. For example, go to the gym or eat healthy food and other stuffs. That's it.
I see it. I think that too. I think it's always important to set some limits in both in your professional life, in your personal life, because it's about you. It's always about you or yourself actually. So if we don't set some limits, people will do whatever they wanna do, and you'll just be like a fantoche. Everyone will just use you for everything that they need in your job. For example, someone can just use you to make their job, and if you don't set some limits, don't stop that from happening, or actually not even to start this happening. I think it's the power is to say no, because that's how you show your limits, and that you basically show them até onde they can go with you in your personal life. Maybe, I don't know, there are some, I'm gonna talk about relatives. I don't know if you guys have, but there are some relatives that they basically wanna talk bad things about you and want you to do what they want to. So I think it's, but just kidding. I think it's talking about the personal life. People try to use you too, and if you don't set some limits, you will be always down. It doesn't matter. The time will pass, and you will see that you did nothing. You only did the things for each person around you, and then now you saw that the time passed, went by, and you didn't do nothing for yourself. You didn't take care of yourself. So I think it's our priority should be ourselves, so we can avoid that, let's say. Number 4, I think it's similar. We can skip. How does setting limits impact your life? Let me see. And number 5, how to impose limits without seeming rude. Has this been happening more lately? What do you think about it, Ricardo?
Well, certainly depends on the situation, could cause a lot of impact. For example, I faced some experience in the past when I got in the university, and I wake up 6 o'clock and come back to my house 11 p.m. And I have to work at the weekends too. But well, I I had classes on Saturday too. So in this case, I had to my day off on Saturday because I needed to go to the university on Saturday. Yeah? So in this case, I work at Sundays, and they have just a half day off because in the morning I have to go to the my university. Yeah? So and well, sometimes I have to work because my shift, my regular shift is Monday to Friday, but at weekends have another shift. So it's sometimes I have to work on Saturday, on Sunday, and holidays too. Sometimes my shift at the weekends put almost together with my shift Monday to Friday. So in this case, sometimes on Fridays I have to wake up 6 o'clock, go to my job, and after that go to the university. And when I went out of my university, sometimes I had to eat on outside and come back to my job 11 p.m. and go out around 8 o'clock and go directly to the university. So sometimes I have a lot of times I have to work and keep uh, awake for 27 hours uninterruptedly. And on this year, for example, when I got to university, I believe that's God told me, yeah, you wanted to study, let me see. Because during this year, I made more than 600 extra hours. So it's more than 3 months more than my regular hours. So in this case, it's impossible to uh, have limits. So in this case, impact a lot my life because I have to study my hours and day offs. So it's well, I face a lot of problems in the well. Sometimes it's not just in from in on this period because sometimes cause reflects in your life a lot of time later. So in this case, it's important to pay attention. That's it.
Okay. And what about you, Leonardo?
For me, I think the same at my job. Uh, don't work. Uh, don't do extra hours and take another extra job. Uh, has been so healthy for me. Just set limits to do not work more than I have to. So in don't work unnecessarily. So for me, that was important to go to the gym after job and work out, uh, take care of myself, uh, chilling, doing nothing, cooking, watching movies, doing something for myself. So it was really important to be mentally and physically healthy. So uh, and knowing my limits, knowing what I like to do, what I don't like, and what I need to do, or I don't need to really do this now. Was important to to improve myself, improve my mentally, physically.
Interesting. Yeah. Um, I think there are ways, different ways to impose ourselves, our limits, and without being rude. Yeah. Um, it impacts our lives, just as, I don't know, it would be if we didn't set some limits in our lives. That would be a completely different life, because we would be, I don't even know where we would be, but we would be in a different position, certainly, because we wouldn't have said anything when we didn't want to do something, and that's what brought brought us here to where we are now. So, and talking about the being rude, I think it's possible, of course, but there are some people, I don't even know, but I think there are some people that just their way of expression is kind of rude. It's kind of straight to the point. So talking about that, I think we have to measure, to try to understand if that's the case of the person. And it's not that they are being rude, it's just their way of saying things. Of course, that they could be more light at the point, but that's acceptable. And but we have to try to understand the situation, if that's the case of the person being rude because they want to, because they want to, I don't know, make you feel bad about something, and maybe that's a different situation. So it's I think nowadays people, I don't know if both sides kind of grew grew up, because there are some people that we can talk softly and they will give a hard answer, straight to the point, even though that's not how we started the conversation. But it's possible to always get better. Maybe we are stressed with something, and maybe we answer someone in a rude way because we are thinking about that, and we say, okay, yeah, that's it. And sometimes it can seem rude, but that was just a moment, and we know that. But the problem is when it's constantly, when it's all the time, and that means that we are not, we could be better in the aspect of in life, not to be rude, because being rude will not help anyone. So I think like that it's important. Yeah. So Leonardo, can you read and answer the next question, number 6?
Sure. Could you briefly tell us about a time when your limits were not respected? How did it make you feel? Sure. In professional example is when I had a ring out schedule with my wife, and we are waiting for it for some time, and my boss didn't allow to leave my job after my work day. And this happened in another situation when I had an appointment to see a doctor. Uh, the first feeling was get angry, very angry. And after, sometime after, I got frustrated. So that is example.
And how did that finish? Did you just stay there and accept it? Because that what could you do? I don't know.
Uh, uh, I accepted in the first time. So sometime after I said sure, okay. Uh, you asked me to stay here at my job, but I need to go. It's important to me. I need to go. I finished that, or we continue this tomorrow. Uh, it's not so important to stay here and finish this today. So uh, maybe you feel sad or angry, m- whatever with me, but I need to do. I need to do it. So I need to go, and that's it. It's a kind of limits saying no. I can do it. So that is finished. And it's not a good experience, but I needed to do it.
Yeah, and I think that we learned a lot from these situations that happens in our lives, because in a first moment, in a first situation, maybe we accept something, but in the other one, when it happens something similar, or again the same thing, maybe we start to reflect more. Wait, in the last time I accepted, but I didn't want to. I didn't like to do that, or I don't know. It doesn't have to be about the work, but so no, I'll try to say no, but maybe we can say yes again because we were afraid of saying no. But in the other moments, in the other situation, we start to say no, even though it's difficult at the first time, but it's necessary to have to respect ourselves and to be real with people, because it's important to be real and yeah, to be real. That's it. And what about you, Ricardo? Could you say something?
I'm sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Uh, I believe in certain. It's impossible for a lot of people, uh, because well, if you think in a different way, or you told about certain points, and depends on the maturity from the people, the both sides, uh, and the but for in certain situations, depend on the persons involved, certainly is impossible, and the main important analysis is on analysis, because if you could uh, you could analyze well, check from another person, consult books, I don't know, consult a mature person, consult a lot of things, and have your own opinions, about the limits. For example, every day you have to do 2 extra hours, for example. It's just an example. And certainly cause of this kind of situation affect your life in a certain way. You could study more and try to move for another job. Is, for example, one of the situations. But in another job, it is probably you could have to face the same situation. So in this case, you have to analyze, and if, for example, I have to pay my bills, but I have a limits too. So in this case, try to reach some kind of balance between the both sides. Yeah, I would like to, for example, travel more, or buy more stuffs, but yeah, in this certain time in your life, you have to decide, and sometimes, the most part of the time, you could see not clearly, but more clearly about these stuffs. And yeah, I hope sometimes it's not possible for the most part of the people, I believe. But yeah, if you on certain day, when you decide, normally is better. That's it.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, it's complicated, but as you said, we have to try to find some balance,
Mhm.
not to I don't know, to just do or think one thing. We have always to have this balance in life so we can prosperar, I'd say. I don't know that in English, but we always have to pound pound, I think, the situations and the sides, if there are sides of something, it's important so we can have a great life, a balanced life without um, extremes, I'd say, extremes when we are too too extreme with some situations. Maybe that cannot be. Maybe that can be. Um, maybe that cannot be the better thing that we could do. Maybe we could do something different, something better, to balance more and to have a different life, better than the being extreme all the time. Okay, so Leo, can you read and answer the next question? It's number 7.
Sure. Uh, what would you do if you saw someone being humiliated for not setting limits? Uh, it's a complicated question, but I think the right actions uh, is help help this person, should help this person. But I have to confess that I do not help every time. Maybe I'm kind of afraid of starting a fight, uh, trying to help with uh, the the person being humiliated. So I know that I have to get better on it, but I I don't help every time. But sometimes I try to say, hey, it's not okay. That's bad. Try to say no. Try to to get safe or get some space for this person. It's not good for you. So uh, I think you would uh, try to some actions to get better situation. But I try to not intervening situation.
Yeah, I see it. I see the point. I'm kind of like that too, because sometimes we have the good intention, but we maybe because of um, the past, maybe we did that once, and we tried to help. We tried to help, and maybe that sobrou para mim, maybe. So now in my case at least, I do that too, of analyzing more and trying to see if that's really necessary. Not just to help someone that maybe I can I don't know, I can get frustrated after because something went wrong and something acabou para mim. Something like that, yeah. And what about you,
Mhm.
Ricardo?
Uh, I don't know. I believe that is, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes is hard to live, because is, for example, there are important situations in both sides, and you have to think about yourself too. It's the most important people on our lives. Yeah, because if you, for example, became sick, I can't help my family and I can't work too. So in this case, you you have to put limits, because, for example, go to the gym is not exactly a how do you say, not important part of your life. It's necessary. I hate, but I go to the gym almost every day. It's necessary to eat, not just to eat health food. It's necessary you have time to eat, drink you this food, and not just put the food in your mouth. So it's necessary you have a certain portion of time. Oh, okay, you have lunch. Okay, good. Okay, buddy, you have 10 minutes. Sound like the move, Tropa de Elite. The guys put the food on the floor and, yo, go ahead, 10 seconds. So you could eat healthy food, but not the healthy way. So in this case, and yeah, you have to talk with another person, and yeah, is necessary. Depends on the other person too, but yeah, when you talk about your life, it's necessary put limits, and yeah, maybe the other part don't respect, and you have to decide. That's it, because if you don't decide, fortunately, you became sick. I don't know, 1 year, 5 years, I don't know, because each person is different, but certainly in certain day, you became very sick. That's it.
Amazing, guys. Very thank you for being here, you all. And I have one more question that is not on the list of questions, but the question is, what did you learn today? It can be about the language, about an expression, a word in English that you learned, but not necessarily. You can say something about life, a lesson of life, or anything that you learned, okay? So, Leonardo, can you start? What did you learn?
Sure. I learned more about others' opinion about boundaries. Uh, it's a kind of question, of topic to talk for me, and listen other person, other people, people's talking about. I can see other perspective and learning about it. So for me, it's not about English or some expression or a word, but listen another perspective. It was really great for me.
Amazing. And what about you, Ricardo? What did you learn?
Yeah, we always learn things. It's necessary have a focus and pay attention to extract the important information. But yeah, certainly I learn a lot of things. New perspectives is good, because sometimes you are wrong. Yeah, important to analyze and have honest answers, honest limits too. That's it.
Very nice, guys. I'm glad I'm here. Um, Yeah, I just sent the survey link on the chat, so if you guys can, just leave a comment there telling how was the conversation. It's anonymous, but I can see the messages. And if you have any suggestions too about different themes that you guys want to talk about, that's interesting for us to see about what you guys want to talk about in the future, and then we can bring back these topics, okay? So I hope to see you guys again. If you want to be with me again, I have 2 immersions on Tuesdays. It's 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So you guys are always welcome there. I hope to see you soon, and thank you very much for being here.
Bye-bye,
Thank you.
guys. Bye.